To people who have also worked with multimillionaires or billionaires, what is something different they do from ordinary people? I know people who are rich and I know people who are wealthy. One constant: rich people always live near, at or above their means, whereas wealthy people tend to live modestly. To expand upon this further, rich people often blur the lines between things that are sentimental or do not hold their value and things that are valuable or things that do hold their value. When I asked the wealthy person about this, their response was, how valuable can something possibly be if everybody knows you have it? Don't get sentiment and value confused, most people do. My son's friend when in elementary school, dad was one of the two founders of Capital One. Mom had a secretary for playdates. Dad would fly to London to watch Tottenham. Had a permanent seat, their London house was next to J.K. Rowling's. You couldn't tell by the way they dressed or their cars, but their vacations were the big difference. The strange thing is that their son loved a mango juice sold maybe 10-15 minutes from their house. I always made sure we had some for mine. I send it to him via Amazon occasionally. Not worked with but friends with. Private jet, homes all over the globe, never in one place for very long. It's a very different life. I wonder how they maintain friendships when dipping in out so frequently. I only get to see them when they drop into their home near where I live, which is a giant mansion with private beachfront and cliff views of the sea below their pool that they never open because they are never here long enough to open the pool or really get much use out of it. The ones I've met who built their fortune were extremely vigorous and hardworking. I have no desire to be on 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 365 days a year like that. I want to spend time with my wife and kids, enjoy some time to myself, and eventually retire and be left alone. The type of person who builds their own fortune can't do that. They sacrifice their wants and free time for the well-being of their company and what they've built. That would be a miserable life for me. I have worked closely with a few in my consultancy. In general, they don't waste time. Conversations are short but conceptually dense and efficient. They tend to be workaholics. One of the absolutely richest people I have ever worked with, generational wealth, in his late 60s, had more money than he could ever possibly hope to spend, worked every waking minute of his day. I know it sounds counterintuitive, but I have never met a lazy rich person. I worked for a billionaire for a year. At first, it was great, because he made us feel he was in the trenches with us. I came to find out that he made fun of us. There was only 8 employees for the salary he was paying us and tended to throw people under the bus. It was one of the very few jobs that I gave less than 2 weeks' notice and never looked back. I am so glad to be out of there. Damn near everything. Get up early. Discipline themselves. Take accountability. Have the hard conversations and take on the daunting tasks ASAP. Continuing a path of self-development and education. Not afraid to look foolish trying and failing. Making zero excuses. Investing themselves. Spending less than they make. Focus on their health, mental well-being, and clarity of thought. I worked with their children in a professional manner and feel bad for them. They lack empathy and basic social skills, and were just beasts to anyone they feel is outside their economic class. You would be surprised how much money gets spent on cover-ups, from sexual harassment to drug issues, because the parents are chasing dollars and ignoring their intended trophy kids. Brush their teeth. I've cleaned homes for some of the richest people in the world, even royalty. I'm convinced this is the deciding factor. They get that shit everywhere. Spots on the mirror, multiple large globs in or around the sink itself, plastered shut tops to the tube. It's something so far off from the norm, but almost every single one of them do it. They pay attention to details. They are meticulous. They are focused. They learn from mistakes. They take calculated risks. They understand the 4 quadrants of what you know and what you don't know. Know you know, know you don't know. Don't know you know, and don't know you don't know. The last one is most important. I only know one super wealthy person. He is a duke. He accidentally stole the metal shopping basket from the little shop when popping in to buy a few things. Just don't think it occurred to him that he wasn't supposed to take it. We used that basket to stock the fridges in the pub where I worked for years. They'd regularly stab staff in the back on the 11th month of employment so they wouldn't get stock. I feel like someone who isn't a gigantic turd sandwich wouldn't act like such a child. They also didn't do any work, besides post on LinkedIn. All their money was inherited along with their sociopathy. Working closely with multimillionaires or billionaires revealed key traits such as a clear vision, comfort with calculated risks, continuous learning, resilience, strong networking skills, adept time management, quick adaptability, a focus on value creation, discipline, and a commitment to philanthropy. One of my friends is going to be a billionaire soon. His father is dying and he's the sole heir to the family fortune. He already had access to it, but he chooses to live a middle-class life instead. It's important to him to teach his kids the value of hard work. So he's basically the exception, or something that you just noticed. I directly worked for 3 before. They were always busy. They valued time a lot. The other 2 were doing business trips from one country to another so frequently as if they were just traveling from one local city to another. This was pre-pandemic. I run a gallery for a billionaire. His understanding of money baffles me. He will drop thousands on a scam, but then pinch pennies on equipment for the gallery. He's getting better about it, but he probably got scammed out of more money than I will make my entire life. I work with one, the owner of the social enterprise that employs me. Very driven, scrupulously fair, left-leaning. Works about 12-14 hours a day, plus another half day in dribs and drabs over the weekend, but doesn't expect staff to do the same. Take the risks. Worked with many millionaires in my time in security, and what surprised me is how not smart they are. Most of them are just people who took a risk by starting a business or making the right investment and it paid off. One person told me a really well-dressed guy tried on many shoes and left empty-handed. Later, a disheveled guy comes in, and the other salespeople hesitate to help them. He needs 8 pairs for guys working on his garden. I have worked with several millionaires and 1 billionaire. I'd say 8-10 of the millionaires were complete assholes. Looked down on everyone 25-8. The billionaire was lovely, just a normal guy who happened to be rich. They buy furniture all the time. My boss receives furniture every day and orders him to change them and send the old ones to other houses he also owns. After a month he gets bored and had everything changed again. A lot of them are philanthropists who have no real job but also staff to complete every mundane task you can imagine, so they get to do whatever the fuck they feel like doing for a big part of the day. He wouldn't pick up after himself, never put anything away after using. Then gets mad if you see a mess, or if something is not where it belongs. Egotistical and impatient. Complete ass. I'm kidding, is if you want to be rich you have to sacrifice your life. Work must be your guess, that's why they always call us lazy, ha ha ha. I happened to be in a meeting with a few inexplicably rich people right after I bought my used Dodge Charger. They told me I should have it converted into a convertible. Not talking about inheritances, but every self-made millionaire I've worked with always bet on themselves and was not afraid to do things they didn't know how to. They don't hesitate a moment to spend a small fortune on personal extravagances but will balk at $1 pay raise for 300 part-time employees. They don't hesitate a moment to spend a small fortune on personal extravagances but will balk at $1 pay raise for 300 part-time employees. I don't know any such individuals. Gonna take guess though and say they don't spend a lot of time on social media. Elon Musk excluded. Worked at a heli skiing lodge in AK. They would pay for other people's day like I would buy you a beer, except we are talking $3 5K. Half of the people I work with are multimillionaires. Same as everyone else, it's not really any big achievement anymore. Have more expensive hobbies. A CEO of a company I worked for ended up getting killed flying an experimental plane. They have people that manage and build their wealth for them. Most of them are clueless to their own finances. I know this rich guy. Pays his personal guard $9 an hour, but will drop $500K in a new toy. Disgusting. They hustle. They take responsibility for their decisions. They sacrifice personal life and often health. Hire a private jet for a casual Tuesday lunch with their girlfriends. $2,000, just like that. Work non-stop, pinch every damn penny. Pay as little as possible for everyone and everything. Arrived at their private farm with lake and a helicopter. When to pick up friends with it. In my experience, lots of them are very good at having been born to wealthy parents. Dropped your phone and cracked the screen? No issues, just get a new one immediately. I didn't realize that the act of driving is some peasant shit till I met them. They use $1,000 notes instead of $1 notes for their coke. Not the exception, but more the rule. Read The Millionaire Next Door. They can keep their money. I'm not working 24/7 nor getting up. A couple people have said that they're always on the clock. It is wild. Worry about security, namely thieves and potential home invaders. Absolutely no morals or mercy when it comes to business. Have no fear when addressing anyone, no social barriers. Typically, they're born with a certain level of wealth,